Chapter 5. Fasting in the Islamic World. Fasting holds a central place in the Islamic faith, deeply embedded in the daily life, spiritual practices, and religious observances of Muslims worldwide. The most significant form of fasting in Islam is Sawm, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which requires Muslims to fast during the month of Ramadan. However, fasting in the Islamic world extends beyond Ramadan and takes on various forms for spiritual growth, repentance, and seeking closeness to Allah, God. For Muslims, fasting is seen not only as a physical act of abstaining from food and drink, but also as a means of moral and spiritual purification. The practice of fasting during Ramadan is a profound demonstration of devotion to Allah, meant to instill patience, discipline, and gratitude. Ramadan, the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, commemorates the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. During this holy month, Muslims fast from dawn, fajr, until sunset, maghrib, refraining from eating, drinking, smoking, and marital relations. This daily fast, known as Sawm, is broken each evening with a meal called Iftar, often starting with dates and water, as the Prophet Muhammad is said to have done. The spiritual essence of fasting in Ramadan goes beyond physical abstinence. Muslims are encouraged to refrain from sinful behavior such as gossip, anger, or dishonesty, and instead engage in acts of charity, prayer, and recitation of the Quran. Fasting is seen as a time for heightened reflection, self-restraint, and connection with Allah. The Quran emphasizes that fasting is not merely a hardship, but a means of developing piety, as stated in Surah Al-Baqarah 2:183. O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous. Ramadan fasting is a communal and unifying experience, bringing together Muslims of all backgrounds in shared devotion. Across the globe, from the bustling cities of the Middle East to the remote villages of Africa and Asia, the sound of the Adhan, call to prayer, signals the beginning and end of the fast each day. Families and communities gather for Iftar and Suhoor, the pre-dawn meal, sharing food and prayer as they collectively observe the sacred month. The final 10 days of Ramadan hold even greater significance, as they mark the period during which the night of power, Lailat al-Qadr, is believed to have occurred, the night on which the Quran was first revealed. On this night, Muslims believe their prayers and fasts are especially blessed, and they seek forgiveness and spiritual renewal. While Ramadan is the most well-known period of fasting in Islam, there are numerous other occasions throughout the year where fasting plays an important role. Voluntary fasting outside of Ramadan is highly encouraged in Islam as a means of gaining additional spiritual reward and self-discipline. For instance, Muslims are encouraged to fast on Mondays and Thursdays, following the example of the Prophet Muhammad, who regularly observed these fasts. There are also special days for fasting, such as the day of Arafah, observed by those who are not participating in the Hajj pilgrimage, and the day of Ashura, which commemorates the martyrdom of Imam Hussein and is observed by both Sunni and Shia Muslims. These voluntary fasts serve to deepen one's connection with Allah and cleanse the soul from worldly distractions. Fasting in Islam is also closely linked to repentance and seeking forgiveness. For many Muslims, fasting is seen as an opportunity to atone for sins and seek Allah's mercy. Fasting is often recommended as an expiation, kafara, for certain transgressions, such as breaking an oath or missing a fast during Ramadan without a valid reason. This type of fasting helps to rectify one's mistakes and provides a path toward spiritual purification. The act of fasting as repentance underscores the notion that fasting is not only a personal sacrifice, but also a path to spiritual growth and moral correction. Beyond its spiritual significance, Fasting in the Islamic world has a strong social and communal dimension. Ramadan, in particular, is a time when Muslims are reminded of the struggles of the less fortunate. By experiencing hunger and thirst, even if only for part of the day, Muslims are meant to develop empathy for those who go without food and water on a regular basis. Acts of charity, known as zakat, are particularly encouraged during Ramadan, with many Muslims giving generously to those in need. This reinforces the Islamic principle of caring for one's fellow human beings, fostering a sense of community and solidarity across the Muslim world. The health benefits of fasting have also been acknowledged in Islamic tradition. The Prophet Muhammad is reported to have said, "Fast so that you may gain health," suggesting that fasting has physical as well as spiritual benefits. While the primary purpose of fasting in Islam is spiritual, it is understood that the act of fasting, when practiced with moderation and proper nutrition, can lead to improvements in physical well-being. Modern studies on intermittent fasting and its positive effects on metabolism, digestion, and mental clarity resonate with Islamic practices that encourage restraint in both eating and behavior. In addition to regular fasting, Islamic scholars emphasize the importance of moderation during the periods when fasting is broken. While the fast is meant to discipline the body and mind, indulgence during Iftar or Suhoor is discouraged. Islam promotes the concept of wasatiyah, or balance, which encourages Muslims to avoid both extremes, excessive deprivation and overindulgence. Maintaining this balance is key to ensuring that fasting remains a holistic practice, fostering both spiritual and physical well-being. Fasting in Islam also holds a deeply mystical dimension, especially within Sufism, the spiritual and ascetic branch of Islam. Sufi practitioners often incorporate additional fasts into their lives as a way of purifying the heart and attaining a closer connection with Allah. Fasting is seen as part of a broader effort to achieve Tazkiyah, purification of the soul, and ma'rifah, knowledge of God. For Sufis, the physical act of fasting is secondary to the spiritual fasting from worldly distractions, ego, and selfish desires. This inner fast, combined with the physical abstinence, is seen as a path to achieving divine knowledge and enlightenment. In the Islamic world, fasting is much more than a ritual obligation. It is a deeply transformative practice that touches every aspect of a Muslim's life. From Ramadan's communal observance to the personal devotion of voluntary fasts, fasting in Islam is a way to draw closer to Allah, cleanse the body and soul, and foster empathy and compassion for others. Through the physical discipline of fasting, Muslims cultivate spiritual strength, learning to control their desires and deepen their faith in Allah's guidance.